Hello, welcome to the video. I am just about to leave to go get my haircut, but I haven't started this vlog yet, so I just wanted to come on and say hello, and then that way you'll get the full before and after. For this video, what we're going to be doing is a week, or 5 days or however long, a week of analog hobbies and activities, which is basically what I do every week on this channel. But usually I will try to have like a singular focus and one project that I'm working on. And this week it will be a little bit of a lot of different things. Just doing some of my favorite screen-free, creative, and cozy hobbies. So the next time that I see you, I will have a different hairdo and we will just jump right into the first analog activity. So I will see you there. Okay, here's the new hair. I was trying a new stylist today and she did a really good job. She did exactly what I wanted. Okay, so now we're at the library. I'm just going to go in and browse for a little bit. There's not a book that I'm really looking for today. I don't really have anything on my radar or anything that I'm excited to read. I haven't really been feeling inspired by book recommendations lately, so I'm just going to go see what's on the shelves and just take whatever jumps out at me. So let's go. I'm keeping this here, so you want me to move my computer so you can lay down? There you go. So the books that I ended up getting yesterday at the library were 2 thrillers. I don't normally read a lot of thrillers. Every once in a while I pick one up, but I kind of know authors' names because there's some that are very popular. Obviously, always on bestseller lists and always recommended all over the place. So I kind of just browsed around until I saw some authors that I recognized and took whatever sounded good. So the first one is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I don't really know what it's about other than there's a married couple, there's a secret, a mystery. It says, think you know the person you married? Think again. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of secrets, and an anniversary they will never forget. And then the other one I got was None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. And I started reading this one last night. I read a couple chapters and so far I'm intrigued and I'm actually excited to get back to this one. This one is about 2 women who they have the same birthday. One's a podcaster, one is just a middle-aged woman who seems pretty dissatisfied with her life, and she goes out on her 45th birthday to this bar with her husband, and she sees this other woman walk in who it's also celebrating her birthday, and so she goes and talks to her in the bathroom and is like, we're birthday twins. I also don't really know the plot of this one, but I'm getting stalker vibes. I think the one woman goes on the other woman's podcast and she has secrets and there's also a mystery, and anyway, it seems like it's going to be a good one. I have read one other, I think I've read a Lisa Jewell book. I think I've read books by both of these authors. I can't remember what the one I read from Lisa Jewell was. What was it called? Okay, yeah, so no, I looked up her books and I've never read one. So this will be my first Lisa Jewell experience. And then I read Beautiful Ugly, which I'm pretty sure is Alice Feeney. And I liked Beautiful Ugly until the reveal, the twist was revealed. And then I was a little miffed because I did not like the way that she went about that. I thought it was kind of cheap. I don't know. So hopefully I like this one better, but I have a feeling they're going to be page turners and I'm going to fly through them. So the book I just finished reading was a thriller too. It was Best Offer Wins. I can't remember who wrote that one, but I'll put it in here. That one was really fun. I flew through it in a weekend. I couldn't put it down. I thought the plot was really original and timely with like the housing market crisis. It's about this couple who is trying to buy a house in Washington, D.C., where it's like impossible. And they keep putting in offers on houses and keep getting outbid, and they're getting really desperate. They want to have a baby, and like they're living in this tiny apartment. The wife finds out about this house that's going to come onto the market soon. She goes and finds it and looks through the windows, and she's like, oh, this is my perfect house. I need to have this house. And so she like starts stalking the couple that owns it, and it just gets more and more unhinged from there. And I never would have imagined how that story was going to end. But it was a really fun one. I liked that one. So I just thought that I would try a couple more thrillers. I checked in the horror section, and there wasn't a lot there yesterday that I haven't already read. There's not really anything new out that I have been intrigued by. There are a couple coming out that I'm excited about. The follow-up to We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer. That one's coming out in April. I want to get on the list for that one. And then there's one called Tradwife that I saw my library had put an order in for. So when that one hits the shelves at my library, I'll get into that one because I think that one's going to be pretty fun. But other than that, yeah, I usually have like a list of books that I am interested and excited to read, but not currently. But that's another reason why I appreciate the library, because I can try things that I wouldn't normally read. Anyway, I really don't feel like doing anything today. It is gorgeous outside. It's like 80 degrees, which is not normal for March. And I don't know. I got really low motivation today. So I actually think I'm just gonna go read this book for a little while and enjoy the nice weather. Today I am preparing to do a little bit of painting. I have a frame in the dining room that I want to make something for, which reminds me, in my last video I was working on a few projects in the dining room. We hung some shelves and I was having a hard time deciding if I liked them or not, and I never showed you what I decided on. So let's go look at that real quick. So we just decided to keep them the way that we had them. I was thinking that the top one was too high and that I didn't like it that way, but after living with it for a few days, I think it's fine. I think I do like it fine. I still haven't put anything on them yet because we were trying to decide, but eventually, also I don't really have a lot of stuff to put up there. Eventually I will decorate them, and my thinking is that I will like get some small art to hang on the wall back here, as well as put stuff on the shelf so it's kind of layered and it fills in that space more. I think that'll be good. For now, I want to make something to go in this frame. That's what we're gonna do today, is make something to replace my Christmas cookie print. So I want to make a fish painting. Fish are having a moment right now. Like the last couple years, sardines were everywhere, like the little cans of sardines, they were on everything. And now it's kind of evolved into more like river fish, freshwater fish, like trout, salmon, bass. I'm all for it. I love fish. I think fish are really cool, and I love them in art and design, and so I want to make myself a fish print. So I've kind of just been sketching out some fish shapes and trying to decide on colors. I'm going to do something that is loosely based on like a rainbow trout. I'm gonna do it in watercolor. So I was testing out this watercolor paper and just trying to pick my color palette. And also I need to decide if I want in a way where the paint kind of like all blends into each other, like the very wet on wet method, or you can do it in a way where you kind of let stuff dry and make it more, the areas are more separated. They don't blend into each other as much. Yes, I've just been just trying to work that out before I get started on the actual piece. All right, let's go ahead and get this fish painting finished up. It is the next day, and well, okay, I finished the one that you saw me working on. I didn't love it. I messed up on the tail and this fin, and I just thought I could do better. I loved the colors, but I just wanted to redo a couple things. So I started over, and this is where I'm at now with the new one. I like the tail a lot better. I did the fins a little bit different, and I'm liking that. After I painted the watercolors, I ended up going in with my neons and just kind of adding some texture on top and just brightening up some of the other parts, and I just love how that made everything pop so much more. And then I'm going to do the same thing with, I need to add the dots onto the new one and outline. I outlined with just with one of these drawing pencils, a dark blue one, and I like the way that looks. Usually I would do like a black pen outline, but I kind of like the softness and the thicker line, so I think I'll stick with that. Yeah, and then I think it'll be good. Really cute on the shelf. Yeah. I need to wait for it to dry all the way before I put it in the frame. I found the mat that came with this frame, which I never usually use, but I thought, well, this is the wrong size, so I needed a mat. And I painted it pink. Yeah, let's put it up. I'll move these back down. One thing for my shelves. Should we center it for now? Okay. I think we're gonna have to do a thrifting adventure to find some stuff to put up there. Is it weird that I hang my own art? I don't care if it is. That's why I make it, so I can put it on my walls. Now that we have that done, I'm gonna just work on some knitting for a few minutes. Knitting is a new hobby for me this year, and I'm working on a hat. Hopefully it will turn out to be a hat. I found a pattern that I liked on Ravelry. It was written to be knitted in the round with the circular needles that have the wire, and I don't have those. I only have these straight needles. But I found a video explaining how to convert the pattern from round to flat, and so that's what I'm attempting to do. So far it's going pretty well. I have had to frog a couple rows and redo them, but that was fine because I learned how to actually do that and how to put it back on the needles and everything, so that was good. Hopefully it'll be something that I will be able to wear when I'm done. We'll see. Hi, sorry to interrupt.
I am just watching this video back while I'm editing it, and I'm about to get into talking about the analog bag trend, and I don't want it to seem like I'm being negative about it because I do think it's a good thing generally. There's one thing about it that makes me feel a little bit salty, and it's that woman that says she invented it. She invented an analog bag. I think that's really silly, and I'm annoyed by that. Other than that, I think it's great. I think that there is the potential for it to become a thing where curating your bag is the activity, is the hobby, rather than doing the activities in the bag. And that's mostly what I'm trying to say and trying to help give a solution for, so that we're picking activities and hobbies that we will stick with long term, rather than it just for the life of this trend or whatever. Okay, back to the video.
I'm calling this video analog hobbies, something about analog hobbies, because going analog is like a trend right now. I could pretty much call every one of my videos analog hobbies. But yeah, it's a trend, and I support it. I think it's great. I think as a society, we would benefit from everyone getting off of our phones more often. And it's something that I myself have spent many hours strategizing how to do over the last decade. I've probably spent as many hours strategizing about how to stay off of my phone as I have spent on my phone. So I get it, and I support it. I'm all about it. I just think it's kind of funny how social media has a way of turning everything into a trend to post about online. And I'm guilty, as anyone else, of using social media to talk about how I'm trying to use social media less. But I've always been fully aware of the irony of that and had some cognitive dissonance around it. And lately, I have been trying to take kind of a different approach to lessening my screen time and limiting my consumption. I've kind of adopted a different mindset around all of it, because something that I realized, or maybe just accepted, is that I actually love the internet. I love the internet. I was there when the internet was born. I remember getting the internet at our house for the first time and setting up our old clunky computer in the living room, and everybody would just gather around it and boot up the internet, and there wasn't even anything cool on there yet, but we were all just so fascinated by it. And there wasn't even, I don't even know what we did on there. I think there was I remember going to the Barney website, and I was in junior high school, and we would go to the Barney website because that's one of the only things that was on there, and play games maybe. And maybe the Barbie website was fun to look at, and maybe your favorite band had a website. And it was so slow back then. It would take a full minute to load a page, but we would just sit there and watch it appear on the screen because it was like magic. And I still feel that way about it to an extent. Obviously, there are a lot of negative things that have come from having access to the internet and social media, mostly social media, I guess, just with us all the time. And I think we're all pretty well aware of the negative parts by now. But I don't know, there's still things that I like about it, obviously. I still think that there are things of value on social media, and I still find entertainment there. And I obviously like sharing my stuff on the internet and making connections with other people and everything like that. So I guess I'm trying not to demonize it anymore, and just see it as something that something that I enjoy, and not feel bad about it. Try not to feel guilty about it. But at the same time, I enjoy doing crafts and art and home improvement projects and spending time outside and, reading. And so instead of focusing on here's a list of things that I can do instead of looking at my phone, I'm trying to look at it as here's a list of things that I enjoy doing. Here's the things that I think are fun. They make me feel good. They make me feel proud of myself and accomplished and happy. And I want to spend time doing those things too. And it's okay if I want to sit on the couch for an hour or two and scroll or watch YouTube or whatever. But I also want to be doing these other things that enrich my life. And I think that is, it might sound like the same thing, but it's just a little bit more of a positive framing. And I do find myself spending less time on my phone. The other thing that I think is interesting about the analog trend is that like everybody's making these analog bags and trying to fill them up with activities that they can do instead of scrolling. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I do think that if you're someone who is like, you have no hobbies, you spend too much time on your phone, and you want to spend less time on your phone and like more time doing things, I recommend learning a skill. Like, take some time to actually think about something that you are interested in, that you're interested in learning. Maybe you think it would be fun to get into baking or knitting or sewing or gardening or whatever. I don't know. There's probably something that you have been thinking about starting or that you think would be fun to try. And you don't have to go out and pick up 5 new hobbies all at once, you know? And you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. You can pick one thing, and if you don't have what you need already, you could like maybe get a couple of supplies, a couple tools to help you get started, or maybe you could even go to the library. You could see if your library has stuff that you can try. Like our library has sewing machines, and I think you can just take whatever fabric in there, like any project that you want to work on, and just use the sewing machines there, and somebody will show you how to use them and stuff. That's so cool. You should see if your library has something like that. They also have stuff like if you want to, I don't know, they have so many things that you can check out and try at home. I would highly recommend looking at your library to see what they have for any activity that you're interested in. But also, like, if you're interested in like learning to draw, I'm sure you have paper and pencils in your house that you could just pick up and try to draw something, or find a YouTube tutorial and like spend a few minutes drawing and see if you like it. I would see if there is like a class you can take in your area for learning about the skill that you want to work on. Like there's so many different ways. Maybe you even know somebody that does the thing that you want to do, and you could just like go hang out with them and borrow their stuff and have them show you how to use it. And you know, there's so many ways to try before you buy. And when you do feel ready to buy something, you do not have to start with like the most and the best and the nicest stuff, you know. There's lots of entry level supplies and tools that can get you started enough to know if you want to stick with something. But the more like time you invest into learning how to do something, and the more like you invest in building up your toolkit for that thing, I think the more likely you are to stick with it. And I guess my point is that a large part of this analog trend seems to be buying stuff. And if you're going to be buying stuff anyways, you might as well buy stuff that's going to contribute to a skill that you can carry forward. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? That you can build on and get better at and continue with, you know, for a long time. But overall, I do like this push for doing analog things. I think that it's good, and we should lean in. So that's my 2 cents on the whole thing anyway. All right, there's one last thing that I want to do before I leave you, and that is make a batch of ice cream. I recently got the ice cream bowl attachment for the KitchenAid. My sister had one, she was giving it away, and so I took it because we eat a lot of ice cream, and I just thought it would be fun to try making my own. So I think I've made like 3 batches since we've had it. I made a gingerbread one at Christmas time and that was really good, but the texture was off. It was very crumbly, kind of like sandy, less like ice cream. And then I've just done vanilla the last couple times trying to find a good recipe for the base. And today I'm gonna try a chocolate one. So I'm gonna get this mixed up, and then I also want to talk about, I finished reading, whatever that book was called. What was that book called? None of This Is True. Finished it. I want to talk about that before I sign off too. So let's get this mixed up, and then it needs to chill for 8 hours. The first thing it says to do is sift the cocoa powder, and we need 45 grams. This recipe only has 4 ingredients: cocoa powder, milk, cream, and sugar. There's no salt. Hopefully it's good. Okay, I'm gonna just measure my cocoa into this cup. We're using this scale today. 45 grams. I don't have a proper sifter, but I have this like strainer, so we're gonna use that. I think it'll be fine. Okay, what's next? Clean up the cocoa powder. Okay, so then it says bring the heavy cream and the sugar to a boil. 500 grams of heavy cream. I don't know if I have 500 grams. Nope. I have almost 450. I only have 450 grams of heavy cream. We're gonna just, I think I'll put a little extra milk in to make up for it. I do not know if that's like going to work, but this is what I have. So this is what I'm going to use and just hope for the best. Okay, and then how much sugar? 195 grams of sugar. How many? 195 grams, okay. About a cup. Heavy cream, sugar. We are bringing this to a boil. The milk is 450 grams. So we're gonna do 500 grams of milk because I know I have that. Okay. Just gonna clean up my cocoa powder mess while that is heating up. Okay, while this is heating up, let me just talk about None of This Is True for a minute. I finished it over the weekend and I didn't like it. I did not like it very much. It started out so strong and I thought it had a lot of potential in the beginning, but then through the middle, I was just like, okay, can we please get to the point already? It kind of got boring through the middle. And then the ending just kind of felt like a big letdown. I don't know. I didn't think it was very like mysterious or twisty. If I'm reading a thriller, I expect there to be like twists and turns and like, whoa, what? You know? I just felt like it was really obvious what was going on the whole time. And then like there was maybe a little bit of a twist at the end. Whoa, okay, that's done, hold on. My cream, it's boiling. So now I need to add the cocoa powder. Okay, then we're just adding that like cocoa and cream and sugar to the milk in this bowl here. It says to blend with an immersion blender and I don't have one of those. So cool. And then we just put it in the fridge to chill. It needs to chill and get really cold before I can churn it. So I'll just have to add some footage at the end of how it turns out. Okay, anyway, the book. Yeah, I just didn't, there weren't like any surprises really. And the characters were frustrating. Like, it's one thing to have characters that you love to hate, and then there's like these characters, they're just frustrating. I like the author's writing style. I think that I would read another book that she's written. She's written like a lot of books. I could try another one because I did like her style and I liked the format. I liked how it wove in the documentary footage with the rest of the story. I thought that was kind of fun. Like I said in the beginning, there was the woman celebrating her 45th birthday and she went out to the bar, and there was another woman celebrating her 45th birthday as well. And that woman was like a pretty well-known podcaster, and the other woman kind of like latched onto her and convinced that woman to do a podcast about her life because she's like, I'm going to be making some big changes and I want to document it. So she's telling this woman her story about this like kind of traumatic upbringing and life in marriage that she's had, and things just kind of escalate from there and get out of pockets. And then, yeah, I thought it was an interesting concept, but I just didn't really love the way that it all unfolded, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I would try another book by her still. So if you've read any Lisa Jewell books that you really liked, I would take recommendations if you have them. Thank you. Okay, well, my ice cream is just chilling in the fridge and I will churn it later this afternoon, and I'll let you know how it turns out. But I am going to say goodbye for now. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks for hanging out with me while I did all my analog hobbies. And if you like this kind of thing, maybe go check out some of my other videos, because this is what I do. This is basically what I do. I do all things that are artsy, craftsy, cozy, and thrifty. I hope you'll subscribe and come back again. And I will see you next time. Okay, bye.